I am Julius, President of Arlington Branch NAACP, and welcome to our final meeting of the year for Arlington Branch NAACP. All right. Is Ms. Rosa Dunkley on the line? I guess not. Roy, would you mind starting us off with a short prayer, if you don't mind? Roy Austin?
Do a prayer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for allowing us to meet, and we pray that all that we do is in your name. These are all blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, again, welcome. We're just a minute or so behind schedule, but outside of that, we're going to go ahead and stick with the agenda. I want to welcome again everyone for coming in tonight. I know there's a lot going on. There's an announcement at 7:30 that's on TV here by President-elect Joe Biden. So quite a bit is going on. What I'm going to do right now for these opening remarks is just go over a few things. Give me a second. Pull my screen up here. Okay. I think this is it. Nope, that's not it. This is it. Okay. So we have the agenda before us. You've seen that already. It's pretty laid out. If you registered, I think you should have got a copy in advance. Again, I'm so thrilled and honored of what we've done. I've been able to accomplish this past year. This is a photo that was taken not too long ago when we were meeting some hardcore volunteers. We were at Walter Reed Community Center. So just a little quick photo here. Let's keep our secretary in prayer. Found out today that she has COVID-19 symptoms. I believe she may have it, kind of on the line, but this is a report from the secretary. As of today, we have 666 active members on the roll. So that is great. And as many of you saw in some of the announcement, we just, the Columbia Pike Revitalization Office just became Silver Life organizational member with the Arlington branch. So kudos to them. I'm just gonna, for my piece here, I'm just gonna show you a few images of things we've done. I've been engaged in over the past several months. You know that we've become members of the Arlington Civic Association. We've been working with Arlington County as it relates to the logo. Hopefully something comes out of that soon. We've also been engaged with PPG, the Civilian Review Board. I've been to a few meetings. They should be reporting out here quite soon. I've also been engaged in the Northern Virginia area with my colleagues, Pastor Michelle out loud, and at the time, President Sean Perryman on some issues that we were working on. I had opportunity to speak with Senator Mark Warner. Also, for the past 2.5 months, I was sitting on the Lee Highway Allowance Working Group, the Lee Highway Allowance Working Group for the renaming of Lee Highway. Those results have been the 5 top names have been released. Loving, as you saw in this capture from a few meetings back, was the #1 choice. Mildred and Richard Loving, but yeah, I've been engaged in that front. Also had opportunity to meet with Attorney General Mark Herring a few months ago when we had some voter intimidation issues going on. As many of you know, I sit on the Virginia State Conference. So we had a meeting with him talking about those instances, which we didn't see much happen.
Someone please mute yourself.
I've been sitting on another committee with the MLK Remembrance Day with Lisa Fikes and the team. So been constantly engaged. What else we have here? This is just a photo of a meeting we had as a group, the branch meeting a while back. So yeah, just capture these photos. I know everything's virtual, but we've been having good participation. And last week we had a partnership, collab actually, that with Our Revolution, Arlington Fiber, where our very own Maya Jones was a co-moderator and represented the NAACP, where the topic of discussion was protecting small businesses during COVID. So, in a quick summary, I know we were all together, everyone would get handouts, and I would talk maybe forever about all the things I've done this past year, but we've been engaged. I'm again so happy and honored to have served as your president. And with that, what we're going to do, we're going to stay on schedule here, and I'm going to turn it over to Detta, our political action chair. Detta, are you on? Are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So you want a report, and
report. Yes, ma'am.
It was a great year for political action. Even I think with COVID, we did more than ever. So I look at political action as having 3 buckets of work: legislative activity, increasing the vote, and then making our voices heard in a lot of other different ways. So let me just say, with regard to legislative activity, we took advantage of the current composition of the legislature, which is a really good thing to do right now. We made a lot of advances in criminal justice reform, police stops, chokeholds, marijuana. All of this has been, we've made some progress on. Made progress on reversing voter suppression, making voting easy, and a whole slew of other things. Political action started out with 2 strong lobby days in Richmond in January and February, and then COVID hit, and we continued to lobby by Zoom. We participated in crafting regional testimony related to the special session, and I want to give a shout out to Jamie Abrams and Katya Gilbo for helping with the really taking over a lot of the legislative stuff. We made progress on local issues. For example, with respect to the Juvenile Detention Center, we exposed the disproportionate incarceration of youth of color and met with local officials to demand more transparency and explanations. SROs is mostly being handled by the Education Committee, but with the help of Sherrice, we drafted a call to action to try to get people to lobby locally. So that's the type of things that we've been doing on the legislative front. With respect to increasing the vote, I want to give a shout out to Cassie Duffin, who organized on her own a candidates forum for local candidates running for school board and county board. Great, it was a great event. Laura Biederman, these are all new, by the way, these are all new members who just hit the ground running. Laura Biederman took over our postcard writing effort. Not every branch writes postcards. Usually this is all coordinated on a national level, but our branch did. We bought about 8,000 postcards and sent them all out. We sent them to Arlington, Alexandria, and Chesterfield. Chesterfield was about 5,000 of them. Chesterfield is a very important district, so I think we may have made a difference there. Voter registration and education was a very strong effort. Jan Marie Pena helped a lot in organizing that. And basically we packed 6 months of work into 2 months. We started in August, which is unusual. We would have started earlier. And that was a tremendous effort. And it's not just voter registration, it's helping people to know how they can vote. You know, hundreds of people are walking by and we're helping them to know how they could vote, especially during this year, getting rights restored. So this is the bread and butter of the PAC, and I think we did a great job this year. And we're building community, and activism, you know, we want people to know about their about what happens when they vote. Finally, we made our voices heard through demonstrations and things. The PAC represented NAACP at all sorts of demonstrations, and I just want to give a shout out to Julius, who didn't even talk about the incredible demonstration, the rally that he and Kent put together, and was so very effective after the murder of George Floyd. So anyway, that's the kind of thing that we've been doing, and that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Detta, for such an outstanding report. And this is, you know, being recorded, so we'll have it in the archives. We're going to move next to our Education Committee, Symone Walker and Sherrice Kerns.
Hi, good evening, everyone. The Education Committee was revived in the spring of 2019, which was less than halfway through the last NAACP 2018 to 2020 term. In just one school year, the Ed Committee membership has tripled from 8 to 25 members. Ed Committee members are represented as teachers, parents, and members of the following APS, county, and community committees: the Advisory Committee on Teaching and Learning, the English Language Arts Advisory Committee, the Social Services Advisory Committee, Social Studies Advisory Committee, the Arlington Special Education Advisory Committee, the Superintendent Committee for Equity and Excellence, Arlington County's Destination 2027 Task Force, and Black Parents of Arlington. Our accomplishments are as follows. We advocated by letter with the school board and at school board meetings for a transparent and inclusive process for the hiring of the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer and Superintendent. This resulted in some input in the latter stage of the CDIO interview process and a more open, community-based process for the hiring of the superintendent. We wrote and lobbied for literacy legislation, HB 332, which was sponsored by Delegate Hope, who is at our meeting tonight. In the 2020 General Assembly session, we were able to get the Virginia State Conference on board to back this legislation as one of their top priorities. And while it did not ultimately pass, we did pass the House, and in the Senate, it was held over for 2021. We provided input on revision of the APS equity policy. We provided input on the revision of the APS discipline policy. We visited, studied, and provided input on the proposed closing of the Northern Virginia Juvenile Detention Center. We participated in the coordination of the Rally for Black Lives. We advocated for structured literacy across all APS schools. We developed and delivered several Know Your Rights, 4th and 5th Amendment trainings for APS students. We provided input on the school board's development of the School Resource Officer, SRO working group. We provided input to the Northern Virginia delegation and the Virginia State Conference of the NAACP on admissions policy for the Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. We partnered with the Dyslexic Edge Academy to provide free structured literacy and STEM instruction to APS students in a Title I school for the upcoming 2021-2022 school year. We engaged APS leadership and administration to address multiple racial incidents at Yorktown, Wakefield, Thomas Jefferson, and HB Woodlawn. And we joined a statewide coalition for literacy advocacy with the Virginia branch of the International Dyslexia Association, the Virginia Council for Exceptional Children, Virginia Council for Learning Disabilities, and Decoding Dyslexia Virginia chapter. So that was all in 1 year. So looking forward to continuing our advocacy. Thank you.
Okay, I had to mute someone. Thank you, Symone, for such outstanding work by the branch. We are indebted to each and every one of you. Symone, do you want, excuse me, Sherrice, do you want to add anything? You do have a few more minutes. So I know you're co-chair.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything to add except to say thank you. We don't work in a vacuum, and a lot of our issues are cost-cutting. So it's been a great year working with Kent and working with Detta and working with our committee members as we come together and try to create an education committee structure that is sustainable and that will continue this work no matter who's in the driver's seat. So that is our goal, is to make sure that our efforts in making sure that minority children in Arlington County thrive, just like white kids. We want that to be ongoing work. So that's our goal, and that's our long-term goal, and that's what we're striving for. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, because we can't do it by ourselves, and we get a lot of help. So thanks.
Thank you, Sherrice. Thank you. Okay, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We're going to go with our Vice President, Kent Carter, who's also the chair of our Criminal Justice Committee. Kent?
Hey, good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Can you hear me, Mr. President?
Yes, I hear you, sir.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, yeah, I just just want to echo the words that Sherrice just said and give a big shout out and a big thank you to everyone that helped out this year. It's been a busy year ever since COVID hit. And, you know, we couldn't do any of these ventures or any of these ideas without the help of all of our members, especially those that also, you know, volunteer to help out on the busy committees that we're all running. So again, thank you. I want to personally thank all of the Criminal Justice Committee members that helped out. Again, this has been a very busy year for us. And no matter what we've been asked to do by the president or, you know, any outside agency, you know, the members have really truly stepped up and, you know, given input to stuff that we've been working on, attended countless meetings and conference calls. So I really appreciate everyone's support during this year. I'm just going to highlight at a high level a few of the initiatives that we did this year successfully. I want to start with the petition that we started back when Mr. George Floyd was murdered on TV. And that was a petition for the body-worn cameras, as well as the Civilian Review Board here in Arlington County. That petition, I'm happy to report, received well over 12,000 signatures. A large portion of the members were here in Arlington County, which is awesome. And that was an initiative that, you know, came up, like I said, following that event. And it was something to help us spur action on our elected officials, because you would be surprised at how many members and citizens didn't realize that Arlington County was one of only few in the region that didn't have body-worn cameras. So I think after those events and after that information was shared, I think we did a great job of sharing that information, getting that information out to the community, and you know, really spurred a quick change. So that was taken up by the county manager, implemented in the CIP, and approved by the board. So that should take in effect next month, January 2021. So we're looking forward to see that implemented and what changes that can help bring about. So we're excited about that. Along with that petition, you know, we had several meetings back to back with all of the local elected officials, a lot of state officials. Delegate Patrick Hope was instrumental in meeting with us and making sure that we had, you know, proper guidance and a way to get this initiative on the ground and get it moving. And all the way up to Rep. Don Beyer. We met with his office several times on this as well. So, you know, again, we're thankful to the relationships and the friendships that we've made and been able to leverage to help us when we had like-minded ideas to get change brought about. So we're thankful for those relationships. Let's see here. The second one. Oh, and just a note on that, it not only covers the body worn cameras, not only cover the police department, but also the sheriff's office, and also the Arlington County Fire Marshals. So keep that in mind as well. As far as the Civilian Review Board, I was appointed to the Police Practices Group, which the county manager stood up a couple months ago. So I'm thankful for that opportunity. We've been, meeting weekly since then, and we're making a lot of headway, I think. I've briefed you guys several times on how they've broken down the subcommittees on there, but again, our recommendations from the PPG is supposed to come out by the end of this year. So I look forward to some good recommendations that'll come out, and we're hopeful that the county manager will take those up, like he said, and the county board will approve those. Also, to piggyback off what Detta said, we were also instrumental in touring the juvenile detention facility and looking at those discriminations and the disparity in the makeup of the kids in there. We've had several meetings, not only the Criminal Justice Committee with the president, Education Committee, Detta's committee, the Political Action Committee, and we've met with the representatives of these institutions and tried to get answers and tried to get more data, which we're still collecting. And we're hoping that going into next year, we can bring about some real change and help with the disparity that's going on there. It's really obvious and disheartening once we got a chance to tour the facility. And again, like Sherrice was saying, a lot of these issues are cross-cutting and they go against several groups that we have. So I'm thankful for all the members that help out on these issues, because, 1 week we might not have anything, and the next week we might have 6 or 7 issues pop up, and it's very important, right? It's very important work. So just thankful for all that help. We've also been attending the Chiefs Advisory Council. That's a quarterly meeting with the Chief of Police, as well as other community leaders, the Civic Association within Arlington. We discuss a host of and a range of issues. We met with Chief Farr several times before he left, and we've been meeting with Acting Chief Deputy Penn in the meantime. So again, these meetings are instrumental because it helps us build relationships and bridge the gap when we receive community complaints, so that we can go directly with these representatives and hopefully get these issues resolved or get more clarity on what the issue might be. And a lot of times I think that communication is valuable in the work that we're doing. Numerous citizen complaints that have came in. We've helped bridge the gap and help that communication along, whether it's the police department or the sheriff's department or whichever agency within the county. So we're appreciative of those relationships. We also had several meetings with the sheriff, the acting chief of police, and their staff following the death of an inmate in the detention facility a few months back. After we learned, of several of these incidents over the last couple of years, again, that was something that was also very alarming. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to meet with them and understand some of their policies, practices, and procedures, and also collect that data, because over the last few years, we found that that's been one of the limiting factors for us to do our work, because of the data collection and the dissemination. So we're trying to work on that and gather as much as we can so that we can make more informed decisions going forward and help shape and improve policy so these issues don't happen in the future. Already talked about SROs. That's still an ongoing issue. I know we have several members from the group that volunteered to be on that 6-month or 7-month long working community. So thank them. I think that's it, Mr. President. Thank you very much. You're on mute, sir. It happens every time.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Thank you. I like that, Kent. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for such an outstanding report. And as you can see, everyone, we are on the battlefield for social justice, and social justice is the theme of the day. We're in the moment. We're going to move over to our Environmental and Climate Justice Committee. Gabrielle, the floor is yours, young lady.
Hi, everyone. Gabrielle Cantor. I am with the Environmental and Climate Justice Committee. We got started this summer, so we've been around for about 6 months. And at this time, we have about 7 members. And as the other chairs have said, I'd like to thank the members of the committee and also just the members of the branch for your support. Again, can't do this on our own, so thank you for that. This year we have done a lot. We started off by meeting with various groups in Arlington that do environmental work. We did this so that we could get a lay of the land, figure out what issues were happening in Arlington and how environmental justice specifically crosses over with some of those more general environmental groups. And with that process, we were able to narrow down some of the hot button issues. Obviously, there is more than this, but with the committee, we came up with a few things such as energy, air and transportation, tree canopy, and youth engagement. So in the upcoming year, we're hoping to get involved in all of those areas across Arlington and likely some other areas as well. As far as specific engagement, we participated in the Green Building Incentive Program in the fact that they had a survey out looking for comments on their program. And they mentioned equity, but we felt that their program was not robust enough. So we made some comments and they did increase the requirements for that program. We feel they probably have not done enough, but we're going to be keeping an eye on that to make sure we see what that actually means in real time, because this is a new program. And so we're not quite sure what it's going to look like. As far as October, we had a successful pilot Black Birder walk. And I call it a pilot because we were hoping to have this program to get an understanding of what's out there, what are the needs, and what we could do for the future. So in the spring, we are hoping to have a series of walks, learning from our pilot walk. We were going to have a walk in December, but that was not able to happen because of COVID. And so we're hopeful that in the spring, we will get the opportunity to do that. But at this time, it was just not possible. And then at this moment in December, because it's still 2020, unfortunately, the Forestry and Natural Resources Plan is being developed by the county. It's in its very early stages, so they have a survey out. And we have done some comments on this survey to specifically ask that the county address equity and or environmental justice, because if you don't address it specifically, then the gaps that we have seen when it comes to natural resources and the tree canopy will still be there. That is a reoccurring theme with environmental justice, is that the environmental field sometimes feels if you can cover everybody, then it'll be fine. But you have to consider a lot of different things when it comes to those inequities. So I believe that we will be sending out actually an email to membership. Julius can tell me if I'm not right, but I haven't sent it to him yet. But we have some talking points, so everyone is welcome to fill out this survey. It really asks you about your personal experience as well, how you feel you have interacted with the natural world in Arlington County. And so they are looking for some feedback on that. But as far as the upcoming year, we have some hot button topics that we're looking at, and we're excited to get started.
Thank you, Gabrielle, for such a wonderful report. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we're a little bit behind, maybe a minute or so. I'm gonna go to Tim Dempsey and Mike Hemminger to talk about housing real quick.
Can you hear me, JD? Okay.
Feel free to jump in, Mike, if you want.
Okay. So I should be able to catch us up on time here because I actually don't have a whole lot to report. My name is Tim Dempsey. I kind of got a late start, and I'm basically been kind of the sole member with JD kind of assisting me on the housing committee. And unfortunately, just because we haven't had as many people to work on this issue, and we got started a little late, we've been kind of somewhat more reactive on the policy side of things than proactive. But we hope to change that in the coming year and really take a kind of hard look at it. A number of things that are already going on in the county, such as their missing middle program that's coming up, and a number of we think that there'll be some state level issues that also we can kind of work on regarding eviction and housing affordability writ large. So this year, though, basically the one major accomplishment we had is that we helped to form a kind of coalition of stakeholders here in South Arlington to oppose a proposal that had been put forth by the county's housing division that would have changed some aspects of the Columbia Pike zoning in a way that many of the community members were afraid was going to accelerate gentrification on the Pike and could have potentially led, from our point of view, to the kind of massive loss of market rate affordable housing in certain parts of the Pike, because we felt like it would have incentivized developers to do condo conversions based on the way they were changing the bonus densities and things like that were going to be awarded if developers tried to pursue basically what would have been an affordable home ownership program. So long story short on that, we had multiple engagements with the housing and the planning committee. JD and I both spoke respectively at each, and we did our best to really make knowing what the position of NAACP was in terms of the kind of equity, the equity frame on this proposal. And so eventually, when I got to the county board for a yay or nay vote 2 months ago, they decided to side with our coalition view that this was, if not necessarily inappropriate, but just too rushed and too understudied at this point, especially given the pandemic and the kind of uncertain real estate conditions that we're looking at. So anyway, that's kind of it. And sorry, JD, I probably spoke too long anyway, but if we definitely would hope people will join us on doing some housing issues in the coming year. So we definitely need help. So, all right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. You've been a blast this year. Mike Hemminger, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. I know you have a few things to say. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening, Mr. President, and good evening, Arlington branch of the NAACP. My name is Mike Hemminger. I was recently appointed to the Housing Commission. One of my top priorities is going to be eviction prevention and making sure that we're doing all that we can. I do mean all to keep families in their home, especially during these times. For the most recent week with available data, there were 45 eviction cases here in the county. That number is expected to rise as we head into the new year. We're aware of and following the situation closely at Fort Henry Garden and also the Serrano. I want to let everyone know that there is a meeting for the Alliance for Housing Solutions. It's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. They're going to be focused on the missing middle. So if you want to learn more about that, tomorrow at 7. The Housing Commission subcommittee called Tools and Trends will be providing an overview on the county's affordable housing master plan That's going to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. just after the banquet. We do have some concerns about the county's fair housing plan, so I expect the housing committee to be looking to that a little bit further. Just like Tim said, this is a newly forming committee. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link into the chat. If anyone's interested in learning more about housing or want to join the committee, please click the link and sign up. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hemminger. And as Mike and Tim spoke about, we will be standing up a very robust housing committee in the next administration. So if you're interested, yeah, Mike's putting some information down, just let us know. Moving on to our executive director, Karen Nightengale.
Good evening, Mr. President. How are you, sir?
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. A year in a glance. We have done multiple things this year as this committee has been directed by Mr. Spain to do multiple things. One of the things that we have been given opportunities to work with the Britton Foundation. We are working with our scholars. We have this year 7 Britton Foundation scholars that have gone through the academic year 2020 and 2021. Even though it's COVID, a lot of these students, of course, are local and not attending their schools, but however, they're doing well. We also had a training program set up with the Britton Foundation to train the scholarship recipients to come in, give them real life experiences, teach them a little bit about how to operate in school, as well as what happens when you graduate. So this was a very successful program we did a couple of weeks ago. All the students really enjoyed it. It is ongoing, is a requirement, is one of their mandatory rules that we asked them to engage in throughout the year. So it was a great success for us. It was, of course, virtual. So the next year we're working on coming up with a brand new scholarship program to encompass yet the Britton Foundation as it grows. We have private donations as well. And we're also going to work with our Amazon partnership to give out multiple scholarships. So we're excited about the future. The kids are excited, and we will be giving out much needed revenue, much needed support to students in our community. Also, this committee, as an executive committee, myself and Jill have been working on the Freedom Fund Banquet, the 73rd Freedom Fund Banquet. We know we always put one on in October. It's usually a great gala event, and this one, while it'll be virtual, will still be exciting. Please join us on this Thursday, December 17th. We are excited about having the Dr. Cameron Webb as our guest speaker, as he ran for the House of Representatives. And we also will be honoring 2 very prestigious local honorees this year, as well as doing a tribute to our heroes on the front line. So we are excited about this event. If you have not registered yet, please do so. We're encouraging everyone. We also have some restaurants who are participating. So if you want to come out and have dinner as you normally do, so we engage everybody to come get dressed up, come sit around, enjoy the festivities. It will be fun. It may not be held at the Sheraton, but we will be excited about what's going on. So again, it is this Thursday, December 17th, 6 to 7:30. So we're excited. So thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Executive Director, for your hard work. You, Jill, Keisha, all of you that are behind the scenes working not only on the upcoming banquet, but for what you did with the Britton Foundation and that event we had on December 6th. I mean, it was just so amazing to have all our students there. So thank you. All right, we're going to move over to Mr. James Younger, who sits on our executive committee, and he is going to present to us the audit report for the year. James.
Good evening, Mr. President and members of the branch. I'm speaking on behalf of the Financial Audit Committee, which was established in accordance with Article 5 of the bylaws of the NAACP, which requires that the books of the unit are to be audited annually. So pursuant to that, an ad hoc audit committee composed of branch members Adriana Spain, Dominque Jenkins, Wanda Younger, and myself, James Younger, were appointed by President Spain. A review was conducted of the branch's financial records, including transaction reports provided by Treasurer William White and monthly account statements from the Arlington Community Federal Credit Union for the period January 1st, 2020 through November 30th, 2020. On January 1st, 2020, the initial balances were $1,705 in the business savings account and $1,716.53 in the business rewards checking account, for a combined total of $3,421.53. As of November 30th, 2020, the ending business savings account balance amounted to $206,341.39, and the ending balance for the business rewards checking account was $13,068.23, for a combined total of $219,409.62. The audit uncovered no material misstatements, and the balances in the treasurer's reports are consistent with and are accurately documented by the monthly account balances of the Arlington Community Federal Credit Union for this period. This concludes the report of the Financial Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Younger, Esquire, for your you and your committee putting in some hard work. I know that's some diligent work to look at all those numbers. You know, outside of the large donation that we did receive from Amazon, we grossed pretty good as far as membership and fundraising throughout the year. Again, outside of the money that Amazon donated. So really good job this year by everyone. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to ask for a motion on the floor for that audit report to be accepted. So any member in good standing can make that.
So moved.
Who is that?
Jenna.
All right, need a second.
Second, this is Kent.
Who is that? All right, it's been moved and properly second that we received the audit report coming from Mr. Younger and the committee. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? All those in favor, come off mute and say aye.
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 All those opposed have the same right. Come off mute and say no. The ayes have it, motion carried. Thank you very much. All right, so guess what? We're at that time. We're a minute ahead of schedule. And we have with us today, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on spotlight, Dr. Taylor, my good friend, past president of Arlington Branch NAACP, community historian, living legend, my mentor as well. Love him to death. Thank you, Dr. Taylor, for coming out tonight and doing this for us. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to turn the floor over to you. I think all the members are on right now, all the ones that are coming in. So the floor is yours, sir.
Well, thank you, President Spain. It is my honor, so an extreme honor to have been asked to install our chapter officers for 2021. Tonight, we have come together to carry out one of the most important activities of our chapter, installation of our new officers and at-large executive committee members. We are excited about the potential our chapter has for further growth and development under these new leaders. At the same time, this is the occasion for us to recognize those individuals who have excuse me. technical difficulties. Just give me a moment. Okay, I'm sorry. Occasion for us to recognize those individuals who have served as officers and executive committees for the past year. Under their leadership, our chapter has grown and evolved, has grown as was evidenced by a report given earlier, has grown and evolved to take its rightful place as a true representative of our civil rights. They leave our chapter in excellent shape and ready to anew new heights in the years ahead. Our thanks go to those outgoing members, Mr. William White Sr., Ms. Keisha Tinsley, Ms. Rosa Dunkley, Ms. Adriana Spain, Ms. Jill Colazzo, and Tim Dempsey. In an association, no other ceremony is as important as that of extolling the elected officers. For those being installed, it is a visible demonstration of their commitment and dedication to the organization. Those of us who witnessed this important event also play an important role in the ceremony because we too demonstrate our commitment to support and encourage our leaders during the coming year. As I call and introduce our new officers for the upcoming year, will each of you stand in place as your name is called? Julius D. Spain, Sr., President. Kent Carter, First Vice President. Sherrice Kerns, Second Vice President. Michael Hemminger, Third Vice President. Roy Austin, Treasurer. Wanda Younger, Secretary. Dominque Jenkins, Assistant Secretary. Karen Nightengale, At-Large Committee Member. James Younger, Esquire, At-Large Committee Member. Symone Walker, At-Large Committee Member. I will ask you to stand in place, and as I read the installation oath, I'll ask you to raise your right hand. And at the conclusion of the oath, I will ask you to verbally state your name and affirm the answer, I will. At this time, I will ask you to raise your right hand, and I will read the NAACP oath. I solemnly affirm to discharge to the best of my ability the responsibilities of the office in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in accordance with this Constitution and bylaw and the decision of its governing body. I dedicate myself anew to its principles of equality and justice under law. I shall always try to keep the goals of the NAACP above any purely personal or individual interests that might hinder the attainment of those goals. I congratulate each of you and close this and ask you to raise your right hand to say aloud your name and the affirmation of I will.
Roy Austin, I will.
Symone Walker, I will.
Julius D. Spain, Sr., I will.
James L. Younger, I will.
Wanda Younger, I will.
Aaron Nightengale, I will.
Sherrice Kerns, I will.
Kent Carter, I will.
Michael Hemminger, I will.
You responded. Mr. President, have all responded?
Dr. Taylor, I don't think you called Adriana Spain for
I did.
assistant secretary, assistant treasurer, excuse me. Thank you, Mr.
I called. If I did, I apologize, but I did call her name.
Yeah, on the way going out. She never came in.
I apologize. Well, Adriana, will you please affirm?
Adriana Spain, I will.
Is that all, Mr. President?
I believe so, Mr. Past President, Dr. Taylor. I think that is it.
Thank you.
Kent, are we missing anyone, Kent?
I don't think so, Mr. President.
Okay.
Okay, I congratulate each of you, and we'll close this installation ceremony with a quote from Tony Robbins. The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. I now declare all of you installed as the officers for the Arlington branch of the NAACP for the upcoming year of 2021. Thank you.
Dr. Taylor, you're my hero. Thank you. And to everyone who's on the call, thank you for sticking around. I want to take the time right now to, again, thank you, Dr. Taylor, for taking time out of a very busy schedule. And I know 8:30 at night is a little late. You love your sleep, but I also was told you're a night hawk. So no big deal. And the reason, Dr. Taylor, as many of you know, is not only a past president of our branch years back, but he's, he is a man that without question has stood the test of time. He's been in Arlington all of his life, and he's seen the good days, the bad days, and trust and believe I lean on him from time to time to gain some wise counsel about the future, because you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. Some of these things we're doing today, we're actually just repeating, but Dr. Taylor from time to time helped me break through some of that fog and kind of understand what's at hand. But with that being said, what I also want to do is recognize at this time some of our elected officials that have joined us tonight. I know it's very busy. We do have Clerk of Court, the gentleman who swore us in 2 years ago, the Honorable Paul Ferguson. Thank you, Paul, for being with us tonight. Really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, JD.
We also have with us Delegate Patrick Hope, who hasn't missed a meeting lately. Pat, you may still be on. I'm just looking at one screen, but thank you, the Honorable Patrick Hope, for being with us tonight.
Thank you, JD. Good to see everyone.
Yes, sir. And I saw Senator Barbara Favola earlier. If she's still on, Senator Favola, thank you so much, ma'am. I don't think you've missed many meetings either.
No,
Thank
I
you for
haven't,
being.
JD. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Congratulations on a successful transition of power. You're a model for the country.
Yes. Did I miss anyone? Please let me know.
Tanya Talento is or was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Honorable Tanya Talento. Okay, it's not December 16th yet. So where you at, ma'am? Thank you so much for.
Congratulations to everybody.
Okay, and I think your membership is still valid with the NAACP. So when you come out to see, don't go far, right?
Don't plan on it. I'll have a little more time on my hands come January.
Very well. Happy to see you. All the best, and I hope your sister's doing well.
Thank you.
Did I miss anyone else? No? Like your background, Symone. You're stepping your game up a little bit. I see you.
Thank you. That's Robin Island. Nelson Mandela was sentenced.
And we do have one of my friends nearby who joined us tonight, the president, outgoing president from Culpeper NAACP. Madam President, do you want to say a few things?
I'd like to just deliver a congratulatory message from the Culpeper NAACP. We're so proud of the work that you all are doing there, and the work continues.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. Listen, everyone, we're hardly ever ahead of schedule, and I try to be punctual. We have a few minutes, and it's always great. I know we're about to go into a legislative session, so I'm going to take I'm going to give each one of these elected folks, just point of privilege here, opportunity to say a few things, because we won't meet again until the fourth Monday in January. So I'll start off with Delegate Patrick Hope, and then I'll lean over to Senator Barbara Favola for a few remarks, since we do have a session among us. Pat, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, JD, and thanks to everyone. I also want to extend my congratulations to everyone. It's always an honor and a privilege to be here with you. I think as we go into the session, we got a lot accomplished during the 2020 session and the special session. I think there's some little things that we are trying to do on police reform and criminal justice reform. We're going to take a look at, and I appreciate Kent's involvement in the civilian review boards under what we did during the special session with the civilian review boards. We put a little bit more teeth into the civilian review boards, gave them some subpoena power as well as some finality as well, but we excluded sheriffs. And I think that was a big gap in what we're trying to do. So I just got off the phone with Leader Herring, and we are going to bring that bill back and try to include sheriffs as well in that. And there's going to be some other things that we're going to be doing with criminal justice reform that we're going to take a hard look at. But I think that we've made some historic achievements and accomplishments in the special session, and I think you can expect us to continue to build on that into the 2021 session. So thanks all for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Senator Favola.
Oh, thank you, JD Spain. We in the Senate expect a fairly short session. So we're advising our constituents this probably is not the session where we're going to do expansive legislation, in large part because our meetings will still be, participation in our meetings will still be virtual. But we're going to keep the ball rolling because it's really important. We worked on some, I think, transformational things in the special session and in 2020. And a couple of things that I'm going to do. And of course, I chair Rehab and Social Services. So I'm expecting to see more bills that will actually be rehabilitative in nature and change the way we do business in our prisons. That aside, I have a bill that will enable, I hope it passes, enable a defendant to bring in information related to mental health issues, even if that defendant is not pleading not guilty because of reason of insanity. Even if that plea is not on the table, we think mental health issues should be considered and should be considered a mitigating circumstance. So I'm carrying that for Justice Forward. I'm also looking at group homes, and I will require that abuse and neglect now be reported in state licensed group homes. We've only been required to report deaths, and I think there's a gap there. I'll be trying to make health insurance more affordable. I have a bill it's an administration bill that deals with plans, health insurance plans on the exchange. And so we'll see how that goes. Patrick chairs the Joint Commission on Healthcare. So I sit on that. We're trying to do a deep dive into the whole healthcare area. I will be working on environmental bills and there's another couple of areas. Oh, paid family leave. I'm going to direct the Bureau of Insurance to do an evaluation of what's out there in the marketplace for an insurance plan that would cover paid family medical leave. So
Thank you.
we're hoping we can support you. We're here if you need us. Please contact us. Your input has been invaluable and you've helped us move the ball forward. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And as our president and CEO, Derek Johnson, say, we look at NAACP, everything we do, we look at it and whether it's development, engagement is through a policy lens. So that's why we lean heavily and look and ask a lot of our legislators, those that implement policy, to do some work on behalf. Because at the end of the day, it's not about, a partisan piece. NAACP is nonpartisan, but it's about policy. Policy rules the day. And that's why we're happy to have great relationships with our elected officials. More to follow. We have a banquet coming up on Thursday. Hope to see you there. We're 2 minutes over. I'm going to be on, like I always say, for about 30 minutes, but technically the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, everyone.